Hilda Maria Valdespino is an inspirational speaker, trainer, and president of Inspired Learning, Unlocking Your Potential. Passionate, engaging, practical, funny, and very knowledgeable are the words most often used to describe Hilda and her speaking and training programs. Hilda has the ability to inspire you and unlock your potential. She works with employees to help them love their jobs, and she works with individuals to help them find the job that they love. Hilda Maria Valdespino has over 20 years' experience in the field of healthcare administration. But give her a big, warm welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Go to the last page in your handouts, and it should be a page that says on the top of it, it's not about knowing what you're saying, but rather knowing the person you're saying it to. I did this program 2 days ago, and someone said, I love that quote. Who came up with that quote? You don't have it here. I said, oh, Hilda Maria Valdespino. That's me. I came up with it. And it's really, that's a lot about communication. It's not so much knowing your subject matter, because you all know your subject matter, but communicating effectively. And when you're managing conflict, it's not knowing so much what you're talking about, but trying to get an understanding of that other person that you're speaking to. The DISC program is incredibly intense and research-based, and you take the program, you take the assessment, and I've had client after client say to me, I felt like there was like someone in my head, because this report is exactly me to the T. So what this does is kind of categorize you in one of the 4 quadrants. You're either a D, an I, an S, or a C. The dominants are driven by results, okay? The I's are driven by enthusiasm, the S is driven by sincerity, and the C is driven by accurate. Why am I sharing this with you? Because what happens is that what you want to be doing is not being so much in tune to who you are, but you want to have a kind of an understanding of what the other person is. Because their communication style is going to impact how readily they're hearing what you're saying. So when I, as an I, am working with a C, what happens is that I need to be giving them a lot of information, because that's how they respond, and that's how they get what I'm trying to say. If I am in conflict with them, I want to be very rational and very logical in how I'm responding to the situation, because if not, they're not hearing me, okay? And I, on the other hand, can be talking about my gut and sharing with them and being very gregarious, etc. They're going to immediately connect with me because their style understands me, because I'm an I speaking to an I. Now, the other challenge very often is that people think that they will always get along with the people in their same style. But what happens very often is that you almost see in that person what you don't like about yourself. And so that's where the conflict comes in, with that same personality style. But this is a really good foundation for conflict resolution in terms of just understanding the other person. So if you sit here right now and think of someone that you're in conflict with and answer those 4 questions, figure out which one of those 4 they are, you can probably, now I'm not a fan of altering your personality, becoming a chameleon. What I am, though, is a fan of being an authentic person to try to talk to that person in a way that they're going to hear you. I do this a lot with my career individuals in career transitions when they're interviewing, so that they can better connect with the people that they're interviewing with. I do it with HR personnel so that they can better connect with the person they're interviewing with. But what we're trying to do when it's in terms of conflict is really understand what you can do to provide those people the information you can give those people in order for them to really kind of get on board with where you're at. Does this make sense? Any questions, comments, or feedback? Yes. And that is the question of the hour. Well, their personality style, I typically go into a networking room when I'm doing my networking, and I can kind of gauge by the way they're conversing with me. So the other day I was at a networking meeting, and this individual came to me, and he's talking to me about how many years he's been in the industry and throwing out all kinds of acronyms. And right away, I knew he was not an I. So when I was talking to him, I wasn't my like, hey, that's great, blah, blah. You know, I was just like, oh, that's very interesting. And I was asking him more questions about how he got started in the field. How they speak to you very often is an indicator of their style and their comfort level. We all actually have a little piece of each one of these in us. It's just that one kind of surfaces more. But one of the things, and now again, we only have 45 minutes to go through this, and I want to give you 4 points. But the sheet, on the bottom of the sheet where the boxes were, you do have some statements there that are typical of the different personalities. So those could be a gauge that you can use on some level to see what it is that the person is saying that might give you a clue as to what their personality is. That's a very good question. It's not set in stone, but you can see by what they're saying, they might be a particular style. This is really based on research, and once you take the DISC profile, the DISC assessment, I work with you for 1 to 2 hours so that you really understand, again, not so much your own style, because we have a sense of who we are at this point in our lives, but it's to give you a better understanding of the other 3 styles so that you really understand how to communicate more effectively with them when you're in conflict or otherwise. Make sense? Great.